Kentucky has a real challenging non-conference schedule on the hardwood this year. We're going to predict what the Cats' record is in those games. That's going to be the conversation on today's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, publisher over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Carson Nash. Carson, Wild Turkey weekend. It was a blast. Had a good time. It was a good weekend, right?
Heck of a weekend.
Well, GAD pub action. It's just never a bad day. Never a bad day.
Never a bad time. Friday night Red Mile action into Saturday night GAD pub.
And now the real question, was it a fluke that Mr. Cam Boffman and Mr. Trevor Rogers beat you and Jared in golf, or do you concede the loss?
I think we all played pretty good golf.
No. This is not a debate. This is not politics.
Both teams shot under 80, which was pretty exciting stuff. There was a hair of controversy at the end of the game that we might have to revisit. But it's a 3-game series, so I will gladly step down and take the loss and give them their win. But that, needless to say, I will be back. And so will Jared.
Any of you golf fans out there, if you really want to understand the controversy, we'll maybe tell that 30-second story another day. But I'm a big etiquette guy on the golf course, and I don't know where I stand. It's a conversation for another day. But getting right into it, Carson, Kentucky has a really good non-conference schedule, I think. And once again, it's Kentucky. You're going to play a good non-conference schedule. There's a lot of fun games here, a lot of fun destinations. I'm going to try and go to as many of these as possible.
Before we get started on this, we should shout out the 3 Kentucky gold medalists.
Yeah,
for the basketball. Many more Kentucky's athletes won. Actually, I think 11 won gold medals, and it was like 13 total, I think, which is absolutely incredible. To share going to a university with those athletes is pretty cool. And I mean, I think Sydney McLaughlin might be the best athlete on the planet. She is absolutely insane.
She won that thing like Secretariat in that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even close.
Boom. Yeah,
it was lengths. But to see Book, Bam, and AD get a gold medal, that was really cool.
Was fun.
With the Avengers, as LeBron titled them.
That comeback against Serbia. And Booker was a really big part of it. AD was also a big part of it. Bam played some good minutes off the bench, playing some defense. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, just as
everyone got to root for Steph going wild in that last game. That was one of the coolest things I think.
That was so fun to watch. That was so fun to watch that. I mean, you all were on the course when that was going on. I mean, that was just such a fun. It was just, I knew that 3 that looked. There's no way that should have gone in.
I mean, that was an insane shot.
But I knew as soon as it got above blockers that was going in. I knew it.
Yeah.
There was no doubt in my mind. Yeah, fun. Congrats to the USA on and then that was night. That was fun. That was a lot of fun to watch. Congrats to those 3 and all of the medalists from University of Kentucky. Really exciting stuff there. But Carson, all in all, I think Kentucky's got a fun non-conference schedule. Genuinely. You got a lot of great games. You got a lot of this and this classic and this, what, you know what I mean? Those types of games. The ACC, SEC challenge is a lot of fun always. And Kentucky has a challenging game in that, I think. But we're going to run through the non-conference schedule. First of all, Carson, because I have a bold take here. I wrote an article about this. Let's just say it, I'm sure, angered some fans of a team with the mascot Blue Devils. Who do you think, before we break down, what we believe the record is going to be here, what do you think is the most challenging game on the non-conference schedule for the Cats?
I'm going to have to say Duke. I would, okay. I mean, you could have a little concern more. The Gonzaga game is going to be tough, but it's not technically at Gonzaga, I don't think.
But it's because they do that because their gym's not huge, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. They have like a high school
10 minutes from the stadium.
Yeah.
In a big thing. So it's going to be, I mean, that'll be a home game. You know what I mean? That'll be a home game.
Oh, it's definitely going to be all good. They have a great fan base. I don't understand why they have such a small home court when Gonzaga actually has a really good. They travel. They have a good fan base over there.
I don't know much about the school in general. Is it a small school? Like,
I think it's a smaller school.
I don't know much about.
I know for
about
a fact they travel. Their fans travel well.
Yeah. There was a solid amount of Gonzaga fans at the game in Rupp last year, I thought. All right. I have a bold take, and you got to let me justify it. I think the game I'm most concerned about on this non-conference slate is Clemson on the road. Now, Clemson was obviously really good last year. They lose that, was his name? It was Hall. Was it PJ Hall? Was that his name? PJ Hall?
I think you could be right.
His last name was Hall. He's a great player, and I believe he's gone now. And I mean, I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were last year, but they're going to be good. And once again, that game's on December 3rd. That game against Gonzaga is December 7th. This Clemson game is going to be your first of all.
Wait, you said Clemson's on the 3rd and then Gonzaga's on the 7th?
So it's Tuesday and Saturday. So that's
all that travel time. And, oh, man, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, because you got to go all the way down to South Carolina. You got to go all the way up to Seattle.
Yeah.
Right? Seattle. So I think that's part of it. And that could be another reason why you might lean Gonzaga in this conversation. My thing about it is, though, listen, it's the first true road game. I don't care what you say. I don't care that Calipari's gone, and there's a different landscape of college basketball. Clemson fans are going to be excited about this one. They're going to want this one. They're going to want this one for ACC bragging rights. They're going to want this game bad. I'm telling you that right now.
I don't remember a time, I know in my lifetime, that we have ever played at Clemson or even played Clemson.
Yeah. I mean, and I want to look up the roster football. And see. Yeah. We played him in a bowl game recently, didn't we?
We played him this year in a bowl game. And we played him in like 2007, I think. Or
that was this year. I don't know why I felt like that was like 4. Is that how long it's been since football?
Yeah, I know.
That game feels like it was 4 years ago.
It does feel like a long time ago.
Yeah, so Clemson's
one for soft coverages, we'd have won that one.
Are any of these guys, would it say if they're transfers? That this guy is Ian Shefflin. He was on the team last year. He was good. He's kind of like one of those like a point forward, 6'8", 238 kind of. Yeah, he's pretty good. Trying to see. I'm making sure that the Hall kid's not still on this team, which he is not. No, he's not. But so yeah, that kid, the kid that was like their dude last year is gone, but it's still a good basketball team, and I am scared of the first road game. That's the thing for me. Who's the better team when it comes to talent? When you rank Duke, Gonzaga, and Clemson, that's not a conversation. Duke, Gonzaga, then Clemson. Yeah. I don't like the first road game of the year because you don't know what you're walking into. You just don't. You know what I mean? Now,
I'll give you a counter argument.
Are you going to say how veteran they are?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
They've played in these environments before. Now they haven't played with Kentucky on their chest, which is a completely different monster. But we have a ton of veterans, ton of experience, ton of players who have played on big stages. I don't know how much the road factor is going to be that much of a factor because normally we're used to playing with all new freshmen, true freshmen. So it's a big difference when you're 17, 18 going into that than 23.
Let's run through this. Let's run through it this way. Let's say I'm going to give you a player, obviously of the transfers, the 9 of them, and who's played in an environment that would be, have they played in an environment as tough or tougher than this? I would say Ortega, I bet when they played so Ortega, yes. Lamont, yes, he was in a national championship game. Jackson Robinson, yes, Big 12. I'd say he's been into similar. We're talking similar or better. Similar.
They beat Kansas at Kansas.
Yeah. So there. Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah. Big 12. Yes. Okay. Kobe Brea. I mean, once again, we'd have to look. It's hard to make this assumption because Dayton went and played.
Well, Dayton also he played in the tourney. I feel like
I know he played in the tourney, but you know what I wasn't accounting for that you're right about. Like even Amari. Well, I haven't pulled up his schedule, but I'm willing to bet you a ton of money that Drexel played at some really good school on the road last year. So you make a good point. I bet you every one of these players on this roster, except for Colin Chandler, Trent Noah, and Travis Perry have played in an environment as hostile or more hostile as this game. Now, I'm going to counter-argument myself again. Clemson in December might be preoccupied. I don't know. They were 50, I'm talking about football. They're 15th in the AP poll, maybe 14th to 15th, one of the two. But maybe they're still in it. And people, and they're like the Alabama fans where they don't care about Alabama is going to be number one, in the nation in college basketball, and their fans won't give a crap until football's over.
See, I don't know about all that though, because one, Clemson has a really good student fan base. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And two, it's still Kentucky. It's still basketball. They're going to want to be there and
that is
witness
true.
that. And we never play them. So like, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, Kentucky's
this is a fun
town.
matchup.
That's never happened.
But so that's my bold take. It's one of the, this is one of those things. This is an argument not based on, it's opinion, not fact. So there's no right or wrong answer. But I guess maybe there is. But I think playing on the road freaks me out. That's just the reality. I think Duke, when you play Duke, it's going to be one of their first games of the year and one of our first games of the year. And I'll tell you this, I think Cooper Flagg is going to be a nightmare. I think he's going to be everything we believe he's going to be. But I also think it's going to be one of his first games of college basketball. Now, I keep pushing back on myself. He literally was practicing against LeBron and Curry and KD and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, and my thing is too, like you saw. So we had a veteran team the last time we played Duke in the Champions Classic with Hero and Keldon and PJ and all those guys. And you saw Zion come out there and look like the best player we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So it really honestly just depends on the supporting cast, I think, for Cooper Flagg. Because Zion had Reddish and Barrett, who were also
great players,
very, very good basketball players. So it depends on his counterparts, but I think it's going to be the most challenging game by far. Plus, it's like the first game of the season, not technically, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be watching because it's Mark Pope's first big game.
Yeah,
and they're going to want to see Cooper Flagg. It's got a lot of storylines behind that one. So I'm really, really looking forward to that one. And me and you may be in attendance.
It's on a Tuesday though, right? Did I tell you that?
I know, but
I'm going.
Might be able to make it work.
I'm going because technically this is my job, but I think we should go up there anyway. We had a good time in Atlanta last time.
We did.
We
did. And saw the win. So we're 1-1, 1 for 1 in Atlanta.
Yeah, no, we had a good time down there. But it's a fun argument to have. So let us know. But we're going to now get into our, what we think the record is here. And there's some other good games on here. Listen, I don't think Louisville's going to be any pushover. Ask your buddy that we got into words at the bar the other day, who's a Louisville fan. Not a shout out to him. No shout out. No shout out to him. But Ohio State's on this schedule. And Aaron Bradshaw, Ohio State. There's some good basketball teams on this schedule.
That will be interesting.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think
Cade will be tuned into that one.
No, I don't give him a shout out either. But except for he is the number one bartender, elite bartender.
Elite bartender.
Elite. But let us know in the YouTube comments of this non-conference schedule, what is the most challenging game in your opinion? Is it? I think it has been 1 of 5.
Yeah, and give us a reason. Give us a
reason too.
Short reason too.
Yeah. 250 words minimum. But no,
we'll grade it. We'll grade it.
We'll grade it. We'll give you. Yeah, we're gonna annotate and grade. But Duke, Gonzaga. I'm assuming it'll be one of those 5 games: Duke, Gonzaga, Clemson, Louisville, and then Ohio State. But let us know. Give us a short reason why. Curious to hear your thoughts. But let's get right into it. Carson Nash, do the Wildcats take down Wright State in Rupp Arena?
Yeah, I that's going to be the first game on the schedule. I think UK comes out, and I think they throttle Wright State.
Okay, confident.
What do you think, Andrew?
I think in a nail biter, Wright State comes out on. I'm just kidding. No, I think Kentucky beats Wright State. I'm not. I mean, this is the same thing as us like talking about Ohio on the football schedule. We're not going to spend any time on that. I mean, you should win this game.
But
I know. Don't say
UNC Wilmington.
Basketball is different from football. It is different.
Basketball is so much different than football because it's not as physical. You can't just run people over and be better physically. So anything can happen here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to get the job done.
Yeah, I'm with you. The next game is Bucknell, and here's the deal. Unless the ghost of Nate Stefaniak comes with him.
I was going to say Nate Stefaniak. I bet you he's at that game.
Yeah. He was so good for La Familia.
Oh my gosh. If he played in that last game for La Familia, we go and win the championship.
I think it'd have been different, yeah. But so Bucknell, Carson, we agree that's a win.
Yeah.
All right, here's your first chance to call a shot. What are we feeling? Duke Blue Devils in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, I want you to go first.
Okay. All right. I think Duke ends up being a top 10 team all year long. I think that Kentucky's more experienced. I think that this is going to be one of the better games of the season, like we saw when Kentucky played the Tar Heels last year in Atlanta. But at the end of the day, I think that it's going to be early into the year. It's all going to come down to how good Flag and some of those other freshmen are. But here's the deal. I think Mark Pope has a statement to make, and I think he's going to make it. I think the Cats win.
Let's go.
Okay, Carson. Carson,
I like it.
Thoughts on this game?
Yeah, no. And here's my take behind this game. I honestly do believe that Duke has more talent. I don't think it's a debate.
Yeah,
I do believe Duke has more talent, but I also believe Kentucky's a better shooting team.
Yes.
I believe Cooper Flag is not as a physical presence as Zion once was.
Yes.
I think Mark Pope can game plan for him. I think we can maybe figure out how to slow him down a little bit because I don't think Flag's one of those guys that's going to drop 50 on you. And so I believe that the Cats are going to get it done, and I believe that it's also going to be partly because it's at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my whole reasoning. Mm-hmm. I think that it's a lot different if you play this game in mid-January. You know what I mean? I do. I think it's a lot different. But playing this game early still November, I think it's going to be a little different.
We're physically we're way bigger than they are.
I think Duke's the better team, but I think Kentucky's going to win this basketball game. Just because I think it sets up better for Kentucky when it's being played.
I'll give you a counter argument too on the whole Cooper Flag thing, right? So he's awesome. Great offensive guy. I don't know how well defensively he can match up with our bigs because he's tiny. Like he's not really a big. He's more of a. If they try to play him at the 3, good luck staying in front of anybody because he's not fast enough to guard.
I'll be honest with you. I think he's the real. I think he's awesome. I won't make any negative comments.
I think if you set him up to where he has to guard one of our bigs in like a back down situation, that he's not going to be able to guard them.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but I guess at 6'8", I do agree.
What I'm saying is Andrew Carr is probably like 230 pounds and Cooper Flag's probably like 190.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I am. But did the Cats win this game? Did you say your thing? You already said.
Yeah, right? Yeah. No, I think the Cats win this game, and I think Kirk Krissa is going to be a big one in this game.
All right. Well, then you got the 2 games back in Rupp Arena against Lipscomb and then Jackson State. Carson, do the Cats have any issues in these 2 ball games?
Yeah, no. Deion Sanders ain't running the team out of the huddle. I think Kentucky's going to get the job done.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And then you got WKU.
Yeah, I like this game. I like how they scheduled a state opponent. Yeah, I think this will be I think we win, but I like the fact that we put them on the schedule. I think it'll be a little more challenging than like a Jackson State or like.
I agree. I mean,
it's
it's a matchup between the two best teams in the state, and it's back and forth punches. But yeah, I think the Cats come out on top in this game.
Yeah, WKU's been the second best team in the state for a while now. So it's good to see them scheduling them. Yeah,
I'm with you. Georgia State once again, and we'll get more. We're gonna dig on these smaller non-conference games when we get there. The premise of this we wanted to really talk about was the 5 games: Ohio State, Clemson, Duke, Gonzaga, and
WKU.
Yeah, no, that's funny. And Louisville, but so the premise is that what I'm saying is we'll really dive into those games.
Yeah.
We'll probably have an episode like the mid-major teams.
Now, I mean, when we get closer to times, we're gonna have breakdowns for all these teams, and
like we'll have a genuine full-on like how we'll break down the football games against smaller teams.
Yeah, and we'll tell you about their best players and
exactly.
All that good stuff.
So we'll get to that when we get really closer. Probably a month to the season, maybe 2 weeks to the season. And we'll obviously rope Gonzaga not in as a mid-major. We're talking these smaller.
Yeah.
Games. After Georgia State, which we're gonna just rope that in as a win. But once again, one of these teams, I don't know who it is yet. We got to dig.
No, you'll run into
they'll make a run.
You'll run into a close game in one of these games,
and if not a potential loss, where
I agree.
It happens. We saw it last year.
I agree.
But then is this game against Clemson? Carson, do you think they win that game on the road in Clemson, South Carolina?
This one's tough for me. And because I think Clemson is well coached. I think they're a good team. And if you remember last year, the Clemson coach caught some flack because he called out the Big 12, right? Yeah, it was Big 12. Because he basically stated that he was calling out Kansas is really who he was calling out. Is because he thinks they put a bunch of fluff on the schedule to boost their what's the metric that I'm forgetting? The net ranking. To boost their net ranking so that when they lose to the in-conference teams, the other Big 12 teams,
doesn't hurt them as much.
That it doesn't hurt them as much. And so he thought Clemson was really good and should be thought of as higher, and they should have been. They were a good basketball team. And so this game actually, this game makes me a little nervous. But like I said, I think Kentucky has better talent. I think Kentucky has the veteran team, so they're not going to get scared of the road environment. I think they'll strive in road environments actually. And so I will pick the Cats to go on the road here and win, but I think it'll be a really close game.
I'm with you. And while I said it was what I believe to be the most challenging game, it's for different reasons other than basketball. I still think the Cats win this game. I'll tell you this, because I think it's the most challenging because it's going to be – because here's the deal. I might have a different opinion than you on the Gonzaga game. And so y'all are going to be like, well, why are you going to pick that way for Gonzaga, but then say Clemson's the most challenging game? My backing for that is I think it's that first road game, and you got to really see how teams react to that. And when you don't know, you just don't know. But so I think that they end up beating Clemson in a really close game. That could go either way. As could the Duke game. I see both of those games being decided by 5 or less points for whichever team wins. But I'll get right into it. Carson, there's a lot of familiarity between these two teams, between Gonzaga and Kentucky. And
oh boy,
thank you. Worked on that all week. If real Wildcats today, everyday listeners know that joke from last episode. I worked all week on my reading skills. But I think in Seattle, Kentucky loses to Gonzaga. I do. I think Gonzaga they're an older team. They did well in the portal. They've got some young guys. They're a well-balanced team. I think Mark Few is a great coach. I think in Seattle, Kentucky loses, and I think that they start this, challenge yearly with them 0-3, which is really unfortunate, but I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. And I would say it's a combination of two things. I think Gonzaga is a really good team. I think they're well coached. Mark Few's a great coach. And I think the setup of having to go on the road on that Tuesday to go to Clemson and then travel all the way to Gonzaga for that Saturday game, I think it's going to be a combination of that, and Gonzaga is a good team. It's going to be a crazy environment. I think Kentucky drops this one as well.
I agree, but you got to find a way to go 1-1 that week. Got to find a way.
Yeah. That's a good point. If you can go 1-1 that week, I think you take that.
Yeah, you got to remember, college basketball is changing. Mm-hmm. You're going to lose games. You're going to lose basketball games. It's okay to lose a few basketball games. Now, it's not fun. I'm obviously going to be really angry for a few hours, but it's okay to lose a few games. So the key is don't let losses spiral. Don't let one turn into two, turn into three. Let one and then get a big win. You know what I mean? So
something our football team struggled with for a while.
Yeah. Then you play Toothpaste, Colgate in Rupp Arena. Thoughts? Cats win there. We're not gonna break that down. Then
shout out Colgate.
Matchup with Louisville, which I'm telling you, I've never, after that conversation with that dude in McCarthy, shout out McCarthy's.
Hey, the way he was talking, Chucky's going to win Player of the Year.
No, I thought he was going to win Player of the Year, then be the number one pick in the NBA draft.
Man.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's better than anybody we got, right?
Yeah, much better than Lamont Butler.
Oh, gosh. I don't want to get into that. I was really angry in that conversation. But
I had to separate it.
Here's the deal. Okay. Here's the deal. I'm telling you this right now. Kentucky beats Louisville. I'm not. And I'll tell you this. I want to break this down. I think their new coach is great. I do. I think, Kelsey, I think he's going to rebuild that thing. I do. I think that he's got a good basketball team this year. I'm not going to sit here because it's a rival and we obviously are not big Louisville fans. I'm not going to sit here and be clueless. I think he's building something strong over there. I think it's a good team this year, but I think it's a similar team to the team Kentucky has, but Kentucky's better. And I think Kentucky's coach is better. And I think it's closer than maybe Kentucky fans would want to say, but I take Kentucky when it comes to this year's roster and head coach. And this game's in Rupp Arena. And I just don't – I think Kentucky wins this game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And if you look at the transfer portal rankings, we're much higher than they are.
You're like 27 and we're like 4.
Yeah, that's where most of their production came from. And, same with us. So I think – and you can't always base rankings, that whole situation. But I feel that our team is better than theirs, and they're in the same position as we are. And it's at home. I think they're better than they have been for sure, but I wouldn't say they're great. I'd say they're good to average.
Yeah.
And I think the Cats get it done. I think we win by double digits.
Yeah, I hope so. But so Kentucky was 5th in the transfer portal rankings. 8 4-star transfers, 1 3-star. I assume the 3-star would have been Almanor.
Yeah.
Louisville still scrolling. Hold on. Almost there. Okay, here we go. Oh, still scrolling. There they are. 27th. They have 7 4-stars and 4 3-stars. So, I mean, we're not. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, we're going to win because they're 27th and we're 5th. That's not how the game's played. But the metrics, the stats, the rankings, they like Kentucky over Louisville. And
we have a better team. We have the best player on the court. Jackson Robinson.
They have. I think we have better coach, and
we have better coach,
better fans, and we're playing in front of those fans.
Yep.
So I think Kentucky wins this game, but
you got to watch out for spit, though.
Yes, you never know. They do like to spit. They like to spit.
They changed their mascot to the Camels,
but
the Louisville Camels.
That's a top 5 all-time podcast joke right there. That was good. That was solid. That was good. But here's the deal. This rivalry being good is good for this state. I mean, we don't like Louisville fans. They don't like us. But here's the deal.
It felt good with the La Familia situation because we haven't had that fire in a while because we've been absolutely stomping them in both.
Hasn't been fun.
Football and basketball. So
yes. I mean, I just wish they'd compete in something. It's getting boring. But I'm really hammering them on today. But I think
it was your experience with some of the fans.
Watching the people like punch Drew Franklin and spit on Sestina, and then that one dude.
Situation.
Yeah, I mean, that dude was just talk about a non-ball knower. But at the end of the day, this rivalry being good is good for this state. It is. We all agree on that. It is. It's good for this state. It's exciting. I'm excited it's good again.
This rivalry is so hostile too. Everyone loves to talk about Duke and Carolina.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's great. But I think Kentucky and Louisville in basketball is right up there. When it's good, it's arguably the best rivalry in all college basketball. There's punches thrown, people hate each other. I mean, it's great. And it needs to come back. It really does, because I missed hating Louisville. I really did. I had to hate Tennessee, and I love to hate Louisville too.
Yeah, and because once again, the thing about it is, it is fun to gripe, and if Louisville wins this game, we got a lot coming at us.
Yeah,
if Kentucky wins this game, Louisville's got a lot coming at them, and that's what's fun about it. I mean, that's what makes it fun. If we lose, we're gonna get clowned a little bit, and that's okay. That's what's fun about it. Like, I'm just excited it's back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited.
I know you as well as I will not be spitting or punching anybody if we lose.
Well, no, but that's because because I would be in timeout for a very long time, or jail. I guess I'm old enough now that it's no longer timeout. It's jail.
I'm surprised there was no more punishment for spitting on someone's face.
But my mommy will take away my iPad. One of those two things. I don't know which yet. Ohio State in Madison Square Garden in New York, which this is a game I'm really, really excited to go to. I'm planning to go to this. Never been to New York. I think Ohio State's going to be a good basketball team. I think this is a game people aren't talking enough about.
This reminds me a little bit of a trap game.
Because let's see where Ohio State is here in this transfer portal. Let's see. They're 17. Obviously, we know one of their guys they brought in. They brought in Bradshaw. They brought in a kid, Sean Stewart.
I know Bradshaw wasn't the best player for us, but man, he was a great person. I'm gonna miss Aaron Bradshaw on our team.
Aaron Bradshaw. He was my favorite person to interview. He was awesome.
Great person.
So, you know who they did bring in? I forgot about Meechie Johnson from South Carolina.
Oh gosh. They did, didn't they?
They've got Meechie Johnson, Aaron Bradshaw.
He can go on clutches.
Micah Parrish, that name from San Diego State. I remember him. I think he was a pretty good player.
Well, there's a storyline right there.
Sean Stewart from Duke.
Storyline. Lamont versus old teammate.
Yeah, and Aaron Bradshaw versus Kentucky. But here's the deal. I'd like to do some more digging on this game, because I think this game is one that I probably lean Kentucky, but I think that's going to be a good. If this game was in Columbus, I'd probably say I think Ohio State wins this game. Like, this is going to be a good game. They have some new players. We got some new players. It's one of those games you kind of got to wait and see a little bit more than I think some of these other games. But I still think Kentucky on a neutral floor in a place where there's going to be a lot of blue. I think Kentucky is going to win that game.
And I'm pretty sure we lost to him last time we played him in this event. If I'm pretty sure that was the last time we played him with Tyrese Maxey. We played him in Vegas.
In Vegas?
Yeah.
Wish I was there.
We played him in Vegas with the team with Maxey and Stina.
Yeah.
All those guys. Because we had lost to Utah.
2020.
We lost to Utah in Vegas too. And then lost to them.
Yeah. But so do you think Kentucky wins this ball game? What do you think?
Yeah, I think Kentucky's a better team. And it's one of those things, I like the fact that I can say that we're a veteran team, because we're not going to run into any
I'm used to saying that.
Yeah, I'm not used to saying that. I'm not used to feeling like I do about this team. But I feel like this team's going to be hard to run into games when you lose games that you're not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not as much of a margin of error, because they've been there and they've done all these things before.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. And then you play Brown, and obviously, unless Kentucky takes a Brown in their pants, I think we're going to win that game. A code Brown in their pants. But now I will tell you this. So that means that we both have Kentucky going 12-1. I bet Kentucky goes 11-2 in non-conference play.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back to pick which game I think they lose.
Well, I wouldn't even have to go back to pick. It's just based off of percentages and statistics. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, and I think Kentucky goes 11-2 non-conference play. That's my take after running through all this. You never know which one of these mid-major teams is going to come after you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the Cats go 11-2 in non-conference play, and I think you take that.
Yeah, I think you take anything between what we have them and 3 losses. I think honestly, I would take either of those.
And then you do that, and you go 13-5 in SEC play. You got 7, 8 losses on the year.
You only have 8 losses. I mean, you take that every day of the week.
You're probably a 3 or 4 seed, or maybe probably a 4 seed. Like, you take that. I think
we
that
lost 11 games last year. So
was it 11?
Yeah.
Man, I did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah, losing 11 games with Reed Shepherd, Rob Dillingham.
Yeah, that's absurd. That's absurd. All right, Carson. Any other thoughts before we call it a day?
No, that's about all I got. I would love to be wrong and go undefeated, though.
I would too.
That would be nice.
What about a little dance pop to call it a day right here?
Yeah, I'm in.
We got a new can we talk over this?
Yeah, I think we can.
This one's Feeding the Ducks. Is this what you listen to when you feed the ducks, Carson?
I don't feed ducks much, but if I did,
that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. But no, we got a new streaming service, so now we can play Feeding the Ducks.
And now I have access.
And now Carson can press buttons, which is not good for anybody. Not good for anybody.
I can get creative.
Yeah, I know. Well, that is going to do it for today's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Helps the show a ton. Hit the like button. Turn on notifications. Let you know when we're posting. Hope everybody has an outstanding rest of their Tuesday.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know your hardest game in the
hardest game, and give us your record prediction. Let us know those 2 things in the comments. We'll have a conversation there, and then we will see y'all on Thursday right here on the Wildcats Today podcast.